The 19th Amendment ensured the vote for women in the United States, Black women and white women. This is a wonderful moment, but the Black Lives Matter movement has given us a big opportunity this centennial. They focused attention on a matter that had been covered up for 100 years, and that is the matter of racism in the women's suffrage movement in the United States. We can bring air and light to this sore. We can heal it. We can talk about it and fix it. White women and Black Americans were courageous allies for 100 years, up until 1869. But then something happens.
Before any women got the right to vote, the 15th Amendment, which passed in 1869, gave Black men the right to vote. St. Mary's University history professor Teresa Van Oy says the move did not sit well with some white women.
That causes a big split, kind of a sense of betrayal, I think, on the part of white women. And they immediately start to resort to very racist strategies. The NWSA is founded by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony. And one of the first things they say is that Black men should not receive the vote before white women.
It was during the time of the women's suffrage movement, which was at first mutually supportive of emancipation and abolition. However, Van Oy says that the 15th Amendment brought about a sense of betrayal amongst white women.
They make many racist remarks about Black men.
The sentiments tarnished relationships with Black suffragist allies like Frederick Douglass and Frances Ellen Watkins Harper.
Black women respond to this split, this exclusion, by still working on suffrage. We ask justice, we ask equality, we ask that all the civil and political rights that belong to the citizens of the United States be guaranteed to us and our daughters forever. Black women wanted to be included in white women's Declaration of the Rights of Women. They were unsuccessful.
Still, the suffrage movement pushing for the rights of women persisted, and in 1920, America ratified the Women's Suffrage Amendment, one of the most pivotal moments in U.S. history. But the lingering racism and Jim Crow laws led to voter suppression, targeting Black men and women.
Voting commissions in local communities and in states erected all kinds of barriers to prevent suffrage, to prevent voting.
Methods included white-only primaries, poll taxes, bean counting tests, and literacy exams.
The local committees tried to make it impossible for them to vote by asking them to read and interpret, for example, the U.S. Constitution. So it wasn't even just minimal literacy tests or minimal bean counting tests. It often got quite complicated. And then the thing is that they did not uphold those same standards for white voters.
Protests and voter registration drives were held in opposition of the double standards, but many efforts to even the playing field were met with harsh pushback.
In the 50s and early 60s, people went to register the vote, to bring people to the polls, and they were lynched and they were killed.
Then, finally, the Voting Rights Act passed in 1965.
Finally, the right to vote was reasserted so vigorously that it became impossible to erect these barriers.
August 18th will mark the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. Today, adults, regardless of race or gender, can celebrate by making sure that they're registered to vote.
So I tell my students, when you think of, time to vote, well, it's a long line, I've got a lot of work, just remember that people died. And all the way 1913, 1917, 1950s, they were lynched so that we could vote. And imagine telling them, well, you know what, I'm really busy. I don't think I'll make it. It makes a difference.
Hey, if you liked what you just saw, get more local news and original programming by downloading the KSAT-TV app on your streaming device, your smart TV, or even your phone. The KSAT-TV app. Download it for free and get local.